administration can address such peculiarities. Let me give you another example for that. Brandenburg has a Slavic minority for centuries, the Sorbish people. There are about 25,000 Sorbish people living in Brandenburg. They have their own political organization. They have the right to talk in parliament, even if they are not members of the parliament. And the state of Brandenburg spends €1 million each year helping the Sorbish culture. And I think that we do the same with the Danish minority in Schleswig-Holstein. They even have the right to come into parliament, not with 5% of the votes, but with, they have no limit. Yeah. So we try to help our minorities in our country, and I think this is a good concept because Sorbish people, it's their home for centuries. So, and we need to help them and to help that they still have their cultural identity in the next centuries. Generally, where there exist many decision-making centers covering limited areas, more people will get what they want from those who govern them, then where only one decision-making body is in charge for the whole country. In the latter case, you may reach a situation where 51% of the population could dictate to 49%. In short, administrative borders coincide, by and large, with ethnic or other division lines within a country. Federalism can be a highly effective method of solving minority problems. By securing room for a wide variety of solutions or attempts at solution, federalism promotes, as Friedrich August von Hayek said, competition as a method of discovery. The direct opposite of one solution fits all approach. Federalism tends to minimize the risks involved in errors of political decision-making. If such an error affects the whole country, the damage will be considerably severer than if it affects only one province. And that's what I give as an example in the financial and economic crisis, that some states came better through this crisis. Worse still, if the system allows for only one approach, for example, the one covering the whole country, the probability of identifying the most conducive policy is much smaller than if different policies are applied in the various subunits of the country. It is an age-old and empirically well-supported experience that competition produces incentive for individuals and collectives to strive for better results. This basic experience is also valid for the organization of the state. While centralist states lack this dimension, federalism may provide for such competition among the subdivision. Basically, it's all about sharing political power and control. Sharing and checking political power is the very essence of democracy. The better the system of check and balances in a country, the better the quality of its democracy. In a democracy, division of power should not be confined to the classical separation between the three traditional powers: legislative, executive, and judicial. In addition to this horizontal division, what may be termed a vertical division of power is crucial. To check the power of the central government, it is essential to devolve authority and rights to lower levels. As a consequence of this vertical separation of powers, federalism foresees a clearly defined allocation of responsibility at the various levels of government. In other words, each state level should hold clearly defined powers and responsibilities exclusive to it. There should be no mixing of sharing of power among different levels of government, as this would only result in a blurring of responsibilities. The voter should always be in the position to identify the origin of a policy. They should know, for example, who to blame or who to credit for the quality of public services or the level of taxation in a given case. Without such transparency, a rational decision at elections becomes difficult. This transparency is a precondition for democratic accountability. Last but not least, for responsibility and accountability to be genuine, the transfer of political powers must be accompanied by a transfer of fiscal powers. Devolving power to decentralized units makes sense only if the necessary taxation powers go with it. As long as the central government controls the financial strings, all devolution or decentralization is but sham devolution and sham decentralization. He who pays the piper calls the tune. This is as much a truism in politics as anywhere else. Let me come to my conclusion. Federalism is the best way. Or, in other words, federalism and subsidiarity as seen in Germany, because we live that. Besides all the problems we still have, and we still have discussions about federalism, and I was talking with Mr. Frans de Keyser before about the financial federalism we have. Some states in the southern parts of Germany still want to change it, Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, but we need this financial federalism. Besides all the problems, federalism and subsidiarity is the best way for economic growth, for social security, and for bewaring of cultural identity. And we as Europeans should go this way and respect each region and support them as best as we can. Thank you.